Oh, chosen one, stop scrolling through the screen. This is not a mere message. You must be feeling it too. The moment you faced this video, something changed within your mind. Your heart must have pounded, and a holy whisper must have told you to pay attention. It is not a coincidence. It is certainty. You who are hearing this voice right now are one of the chosen 1%. 1%. You are one of the select few chosen to receive from heaven what the other 99% miss. Let me ask you the question that has plagued you for so long. Why is your burden heavier than anyone else's? Why, on nights when the world sleeps peacefully, do you alone remain awake and spend anxious nights? Why do you sense events before they occur and feel emotions that others cannot explain? It is because you are bearing a heavy spiritual responsibility that no one around you can understand. It is neither a coincidence nor an overthinking. It is a calling, a holy summons. It is a sacred weight given to you because you were set apart as a special being even before you were born. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Records. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I consecrated you. 99% of the chosen will ignore this message and pass it by. Even if they feel something, they turn away from it. They tell themselves they will return later, but they never do. Because of this delay, they miss the time of the divine promise. But you, my beloved, have stopped. Something within you has recognized that this is the truth. It is not merely a feeling, but proof that your soul is about to awaken. This message is not for everyone. It is for the select few who have been sealed and have carried an invisible mission throughout their lives. It is for those who, since childhood, have felt completely out of place in this world. You've tried to fit in with those around you, made yourself appear small, and tried to delay the time of your blossoming. But heaven has been watching over you. And now heaven is calling you. I pay my deepest respects to everyone who supports this activity. Your generosity is more than mere sharing. It is a holy covenant and a seed planted in spiritual soil. Heaven records all those sacrifices. Because of your support, these messages can reach souls crying out and longing for assurance. Whether you are on the giving side or the receiving side today, please remember this. Your mere presence here is enough. You are with us and deeply loved. Now, take a small but spiritually significant step. Please write 77 in the comment section. The number 777 symbolizes completion through Christ. This is not a mere symbol, but a spiritual proclamation. When you write it, your mind aligns with God, and heaven records it. This is the moment you declare, I am ready. I will not miss this moment. What I am about to reveal is a truth prepared for a select few, hidden from the public, and obscured by 99% of people. Over the next few minutes, you will hear a truth that will rewrite your understanding of your purpose, identity, and divine timing. These are the truths the enemy tried to conceal, and they are now placed in your hands. You have likely felt it throughout your life. A quiet yearning to become something greater. You have likely felt the invisible weight you have always carried, even when no one is watching. The conviction that you were sent here for a greater purpose. You may have even asked God, why me? And doubted whether you were truly chosen. But listen, God does not call the worthy, he grants the qualification to the one who calls. The very fact that you are hearing this now is proof that you have been called. Please stay with me until the end. In a world where 99% miss their last chance, a holy opportunity has been granted to you, the 1%. What I am about to share is something that has been shrouded in mystery, even to seasoned believers. But now it is yours. You were born for this very moment. You are part of the holy remnant, and your obedience will resound forever. Right. 27. And make your presence known in the connection. Everything is about to change. Chosen one, have you not felt a change recently? Do the nights not feel heavier than before? Do your dreams not become more vivid and urgent, feeling like messages rather than simple thoughts? Have you ever woken up without knowing why, with your heart beating violently? It is the sensation that your mind has returned from a place your body cannot keep up with. This is not insomnia, stress, or a trick of the imagination. The spiritual air around you is thickening, the veil is thinning, and a holy presence is drawing near. You must be feeling that time is accelerating. Time feels fleeting, conversations become superficial, and relationships are severed without logical explanation. Do you remember the sensation of being pulled deep into your heart amidst the silence? The feeling of being summoned by something urgent and holy. Yet, the world around you is asleep. You may have wondered why no one else feels this. You are not delusional. What you are feeling is a change in spiritual atmospheric pressure. God is sending a warning to the chosen ones before the world notices. This message is not for everyone. That is why it was delivered to you. It is not a coincidence that you have reached this point. This is a spiritual warning and an urgent call to align your mind before the next change comes. Soon, people with prophetic voices from all over the world who have never met each other, live on different continents, and speak different languages will awaken to the same date, the same number, and the same message. At 1 a.m. on May 25th, spiritual frequencies will vibrate across the realm. It is not something visible to the eye, but your soul resonating with it. If you are prepared and aligned, and your mind is not asleep like the people of the world, you will sense it, ace it. As stated in 1 Thessalonians 4:16, the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of God. Have you never wondered why some advance spiritually while others remain trapped in the same army? Why do some know when to move, when to pray, and when to prematurely prepare, while others are always 2 steps behind? To show someone, that difference is not luck. It is whether or not you are aligned. This is not the end of the world, but a cosmic boundary separating the awake from the distracted. This moment does not come with fireworks, nor will it become a social media trend. However, its impact will reverberate across your purpose, your destiny, and your entire spiritual heritage. Let us face reality. You have always felt that you are different from those around you. Since childhood, you have had a deep awareness of carrying an unnameable weight, something that no one else could see, even when others tried to ignore, mock, and shame you for it. You could not deny that weight. It was not weakness. Rather, your spirit had discerned your mission before your intellect realized it. And now, that same holy signal is ringing out again. When I first received this message, I wanted to reject it. I asked, why me? I asked, why are you giving me such a heavy burden? However, God does not call those who are qualified, but grants qualification to those who are called. Time and time again, God showed me through visions, dreams, and the assurance of strangers. The message became clearer as the night deepened. It said the time is now. Look at the world around you. Is it not clear? Spiritual unrest is makaring tensyon beneath the surface. Human relationships are collapsing. Institutions are disintegrating. Natural disasters are increasing. And the financial system is swaying at the edge of a cliff. These are not coincidences. They are the pains of childbirth. Matthew 24:7-8 states, Nation will rise against nation. Okay. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places, and these are the beginning of the birth pains. Do you still think this is a coincidence? Even influential figures of this era often speak of how we seem to be living in a simulation, preparing for a reset behind the curtain of reality. There are those who confess that at crucial turning points in their lives, a quiet and subtle voice urged them on, and that a great leap inevitably followed that moment. Is it merely a coincidence that spiritual people are hearing the same internal alarm? Chosen one, this is your conviction. The windows are about to close. Mark an emphasis, the 1:00 a.m. on May 25th in your calendar. Do not schedule any other events that night. Do not let noise steal your moment. This is not superstition, but a spiritual strategy. At that moment, waves of holy energy will rush out into the invisible realm, and the results will resonate within your mind for years to come. However, take this seriously. You cannot face that moment with your mind asleep. You must not appear with a hungry soul, lukewarm faith, and a weak will, merely hoping to ride the waves. This is not merely for stimulation, but for activation. During that 1 hour, everything will be revealed. That flash will not only provide energy, but will also highlight your devotion and compromise, your secret discipline and obedience, your longing for God, or your dependence on entertainment. Those who are spiritually asleep will not even feel it. Even during the greatest holy encounter of their lives, they simply wake up from sleep without any change. However, if you are prepared and aligning your life with the holy signal, you will feel it within seconds. You will awaken with power, insight, and activation. Your timeline moves. 99% will remain asleep, but if you respond, you will stand up. Now I challenge you. Write I am ready in the comment section. Make it your vow. Share it with those who have been waiting for most timeless and feeling the same thing. Do not let them miss this holy time. This visit is real. Frequency is approaching. This message is not merely content, but a summons and a divine warning written in a language your mind already understands. We have only just begun. What I will reveal next concerns how you must prepare and why many of the chosen fail right before the breakthrough. Please join me. For missing what comes next could mean losing everything I just chosen. Do you not have the sensation that your mind wanders in the night even while your body is at rest? Have you never woken at a strange time, your heart pounding, and your chest filled with inexplicable emotions? Do your dreams not feel symbolic, mind-stirring, and like unforgettable visions? It is not merely a restless mind. Your soul is awakening memories before your intellect can catch up. Your soul knows. Before your eyes see it, before your ears hear it, your soul feels the gravitational pull of something immense approaching. The holy threshold is drawing near, and you are being led there. It is not but because of who you are. I state this clearly. A holy event will unfold at exactly 1 o'clock a.m. on May 25th. Although imperceptible in the natural world, it will resonate in the spiritual realm and pierce the hearts of those who are spiritually aligned. As often is stated in 1 Corinthians 13:12, now we see as in a mirror, but then we shall see face to face, even it is still. Why 1 o'clock a.m.? Why that moment deep in the night? It is because God moves within the silence. It is a time when static disappears, digital noise fades, the world sleeps, and only those who are awake in God remain. The time Jesus prayed in Gethsemane, the time Paul and Silas sang in prison, the time Jacob wrestled with God all night long. That is the very time when the heavens pierce through. Have you never felt as though you are living a life that is not your own? The sensation of merely acting out in a assigned role as if it were not a choice you made. Have you not come harboring a purpose that cannot be named yet cannot be ignored? That pain and pressure, your inner wisdom, has continuously guided you to this place. That night, your soul will perform an extraordinary deed. It is not death, but awakening. As cosmic frequencies pass through the dimension, your mind will begin to recall the truth buried deep beneath layers of pain and programming pressure. You will begin to recognize yourself again. Ezekiel 36 verse 26 records, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit. In you I will remove the heart of stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. What if everything you have endured, trials, confusion, and nights of weeping in silence, was all preparation for this one moment? May 25th is not merely a date, but a spiritual point engraved in your soul before you were born. Consider the lives of great leaders. After decades of struggle, many emerged with resentment and despair, but the truly chosen walked out with clarity, forgiveness, and a divine alignment toward their mission. Why? Because the pain you endure is sometimes the cocoon that shapes your destiny. Chosen one. That same translation is knocking at your door. Jeremiah 1 verse 5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. You have been set apart not merely for greatness, but for this very moment. But let me be honest with you. There will be resistance. Do not be surprised if strange things begin to happen. As we head toward May 25, there may be sudden physical ailments, unnecessary arguments with those around you, unexpected financial stress, or even electromagnetic malfunctions when you try to prepare. This is not a calling. It is spiritual interference. The enemy knows what is coming and wants you to be distracted, disconnected, and unprepared. Do not fall into that trap. Even on the eve of historic movements, there has always been spiritual resistance, interference, and betrayal. The closer you get to the goal, the more intense the interference becomes. The same principle applies to you as the clock approaches 1 o'clock a.m. That night, you will begin to feel it. It is not anxiety, but a vibration of the heart as a spiritual pulsation. Your senses sharpen, the colors around you are more vivid, and time may feel as though it is slowing down. Your body relaxes in stillness, and in a moment of divine convergence, a beam of holy light will enter from the top of your head, sweeping through every cell of your body to purify impurities and activate memories. In that flash, the veil between realms becomes translucent. The spiritual realm overlaps with the physical realm. Though invisible to the eye, your soul perceives it, and what was once hidden is revealed. Why you met a specific person at a specific time, why betrayal was necessary, why you had to walk alone when no one understood you. All your limbs, your misfortunes, and your disappointments, all of it takes on meaning. This is because on that night, you are not merely living, but being born anew. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old things have passed away, behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 17. Let me ask you a personal question. What if this were your last chance to align with the reason you were created? If it is a night when everything turns around when you appear spiritually prepared, you cannot ignore this. This is neither a myth nor mere archetypal speculation. It is your sacred moment. Set an alarm. Cleanse your space. Light a candle and record your intentions in a journal. Block out all noise. Tell your loved ones and make your home a holy place that night. 1 a.m. on May 25th is not merely a time mark, it is a turning point. Choosing one, how will you prepare your mind for what is to come? This is not a question. It is a crossroads that determines whether your next decision will unleash blessings that transcend generations or strengthen a body that transcends generations. No one else can make this choice for you. The answer lies not in perfection, but in preparation. It is daily stillness, holy meditation, intentional and fervent prayer, and maintaining your spiritual atmosphere, turning off the noise, calming the chaos, and creating space where the heavens can whisper to you. What your soul needs is not a louder sermon, but a quieter room. I have led thousands of people to spiritual awakening, but nothing compares to what will come at 1 o'clock a.m. on May 25th. This is not merely an awakening. This is rebirth. And not everyone will be able to perceive it. Most will not notice. Those who ignore this message will wander through life spiritually blind and numb, failing to realize that it has passed right beside them. But you have been drawn here. You have been personally chosen to hear this call. It is no coincidence. Your spiritual genes are responding. Will you respond? Or will you be part of the 99% who ignore this final invitation from heaven? Look at the world around you. What do you see? Comfort is being pursued like currency, and purpose is being exchanged for entertainment. People are paralyzing themselves with amusement, human relationships, and false validation. But you have not been granted such luxuries. While others fear rejection, you have overcome betrayal. While others reacted to social media responses, you wrestled with God in the darkness, crying out for clarity. Yes, you have endured a spiritual battle that would have crushed many, and you stand here today. Have you never wondered why only I am like this? I will ask you directly. Think about it seriously. Why did you suffer so deeply, while others walk through life without difficulty? Why was your journey more painful, lonely, and filled with misunderstanding? It is because you are no longer ordinary. You are carrying something different from what the masses carry. You have been endowed by heaven with a spiritual identity that this world can neither replicate nor explain. Matthew 22, verse 14, many are called, but few are chosen. This is not a poetic expression. It encapsulates your entire life in a single line. The suffering that caused you to doubt God's love was never a punishment. That was proof that God trusted you. God entrusts heavy cloaks only to strong shoulders. Your shoulders have carried the weight of several generations. Consider Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, and unjustly imprisoned. It was not a rejection, but a placement. Step by step, through his suffering, he was moving toward the throne where he would save nations. Consider David. Chased like a criminal, he slept in a cave and hid from the king he served. Yet, during that time, he was being tempered into the ruler Israel needed. Do you still think your trials are a coincidence? This pattern does not lie. Your life, too, has followed the same script. 99% of people will not notice it. Without realizing that you are the spiritual pillar of the entire family, they will advise you to pray more or give thanks. If you collapse, they collapse too. However, if you rise and accept your calling, you will break the family curse that has ruled your family for centuries. The bingo you have fought was not merely a matter of money. It was a matter of inheritance. That solitude was training to hear the voice of God without noise. That trial softened your heart to support the broken. Your wounds have made you holy. Look at your hands once again. They may not look any different from anyone else's, but they have carried burdens, healed wounds, and fought and won in silence. They are chosen to build what has not been entrusted to anyone else. Look at your tears. They are not a symbol of weakness. They are holy oil. They have been preparing you for an anointing that many will not taste. Feel the loneliness, the feeling of being abandoned, and the pain that made you whisper, "God, why me?" It was not meant to burn you up. It was meant to bring you to retirement. That silence was not a rejection, but divine protection. The delay was not a rejection. Rather, God was orchestrating step by step the details and moving every word so that your breakthrough would bless not only you, but everything connected to your lineage. Isaiah 40:31. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will strike and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. This is your eagle-like moment. However, there is something the enemy does not want you to realize, that this opportunity has a time limit. This calling has a deadline. The windows of heaven are open, but they are not eternal. You cannot postpone this until later. You cannot walk toward the breakthrough while delaying alignment. 99% will hesitate. They will say, later. But the chosen ones do not. Moses had the burning bush that was not consumed. Esther had the mission that this is for such a time. And now that is you. This is your divine promise, a holy time, and a once-in-a-lifetime alignment. Like those who possess a blueprint that others cannot see, you, the chosen, are now walking your own blueprint. The question is whether you will recognize this moment or miss it. You are being positioned, led, and tested, not to be punished, but to be prepared. Now, which path will you choose? Will you rise with the 1%? Or will you remain asleep with the 99%? Chosen, I will share what I have learned while accompanying spiritual warriors. When people sense what you are feeling right now, a distinctive look sets in their eyes, a stillness deep within the pupils, and a trembling in the voice. It is not emotion or fear, but recognition. The spirit within awakens, recalling and resonating with a truth known long before intellect gave it a name. A stirring in the heart, a strange calmness mixed with anticipation. It is proof that you are leaning forward toward a promise you have been counting down too long before you realized it. Not toward may will be, but toward fulfillment. You have not simply reached this message, you have been summoned. Your mind has been drawn here because you stand at the threshold of a greatest breakthrough. It is such a momentous and cosmic one that missing it will affect timelines you do not yet remember. Baye the facto. You are not looking at this for yourself alone. You are looking at it for your children, your lineage, and your spiritual legacy. Now, let me ask you, who around you carries the same burden as you? Who is the one who feels deeply yet speaks little? Who is the one who supports others in silence, even though they feel as though they themselves are about to collapse? Share this message with that person, for what comes on May 25th will not only change you, but will also change everything aligned with the frequency of heaven. 99% of people are trapped in a limited ritual and chasing aimless success and attempting to heal wounds without knowing the root cause. However, you, as one of the chosen 1%, were born to break that pattern, liberate the trapped, and rewrite the spiritual genes of your family. But before that, you must understand the divine timing that is about to unfold precisely at 1 o'clock a.m. on May 25th. While many in the world are asleep amidst digital noise, something extraordinary happens. It does not happen around you, but within you. The veil between dimensions unthins, and the spiritual amnesia you have carried since your birth begins to dissipate. As that cosmic flash traverses the structure of existence, the vault within you opens and divine records older than your physical life are unleashed. Information your soul has long held in silence will rise, like sunlight shining through the clouds. Have you ever stood in a place you have never been before and felt as though you had been here before? Have you never felt an inexplicable sense of connection, as if you had known someone for centuries even though you had just met them? Have you never simply known that something was true without anyone teaching you? These are not coincidences. They are the memories of the soul. They are a fleeting landscape seen through the cracks of a sealed mind. On May 25th, those cracks will open wide. Jeremiah 1, verse 5, before I formed you in the womb, you. This is not a metaphor, but a fact. Your consciousness did not begin in your first life. Your soul has long held a mission, fulfilled its duties, and engraved lessons into eternal memory, and it has returned for this very moment. Look at your hands. Look closely. These are not merely human hands. These are the hands that, in ancient times, held tools, wrote scrolls in secret chambers, and lifted the wounded in invisible wars. Your soul has walked through fire, and now it has returned. Not for comfort, but for completion. When a flash of light strikes, you will recall not only fragments, but also the covenant made within your soul. You will come to understand why that betrayal nearly destroyed you. It was a design intended to ignite a power you did not know you possessed. The reason certain people return, no matter how far they drift away, is that they are mirrors of the soul, sent to remind you of who you were and who you swore to become. Suddenly, every pain acquires meaning. Rejection and betrayal. The sleepless nights asking, God, why? You suffered more. Not because you were cursed, but because you were entrusted with more. Others walk a smooth path because their calling is superficial. However, your mission is deep, and therefore your retirement is also profound. Ecclesiastes 1, verse 9, what has been will be again. And what has been done will be done again. There is nothing new under the sun. When Solomon wrote this, he was not merely speaking of history. He was speaking of the soul. Your soul stood in a holy place, fought in prayer across generations, and remembered the voice of heaven even when it nearly vanished from the earth. You know this. That is why you cannot sleep. That is why your mind aches in search of the truth. You become weary of shallow conversations. Gatherings feel tedious. And the suffering of the world, which you did not cause, feels like your responsibility. This is because your soul remembers. When a cosmic flash strikes, your intellect will finally realize. You will witness your own history in the heavenly record, as if watching a movie. You will see the reasons behind every loss and delay and every unanswered prayer. You will perceive the past not as the property of a stranger, but as one eternal story, a chapter of your own narrative. You will come to understand why you were born, with these ties and gifts under these parents of this age. You will recall the soul's promise to walk with a specific person, the agreement to teach a specific truth, the contract that meant would suffer specific wounds to be healed through your journey. In that memory, the weight lightens, guilt vanishes, and confusion subsides. This is because you realize that you chose this path. You were never a victim, but a volunteer. Wisdom that transcends age. That is the memory of the soul. The gaze of understanding, exchange between strangers. That is the memory of the soul. That inexplicable pain. The impulse to rise even crushed. These are all memories of the soul. Genesis 9:15. I will remember my covenant be noting and all fleshly creatures. This covenant is a covenant not only with all of humanity, but also with you personally. It is a spiritual agreement inscribed upon your very being. And now it is about to be reactivated. When the veil lifts on May 25th, you will not only simply awaken, but finally come to remember. You are not a broken human being seeking the way. You are a heavenly figure planted in this generation, running a holy mission and carrying a task of eternal weight. Your words hold power in the spirit realm. Your prayers rewrite destiny, and your presence changes the air without speaking a word. You now understand why darkness has fought so desperately to silence you. Darkness trembles in terror at the sight of what you possess. You must be prepared to record every image, word, and emotion when your memories begin to awaken on the night of May 25th. Do not rely solely on memory. That moment will be overwhelming. Keep a diary by your bedside and use voice memos. These will not be mere personal reflections, but living records proving your divine duty. Your soul does not remember solely for itself. It remembers for your lineage, your family, and your generations or ons. If you have already begun to feel this reverence for past memories, if you feel a shiver when a specific truth is spoken, if you dream of distant lands you have never read or visited, or if you possess skills or knowledge you have never learned, please write "I recall" in the comment section. These sacred lights are not imagination. This is the first drop of the coming flood. God is shaking your eternal memories to prepare you to so fully accept what you have possessed since before birth. Are you ready to finally grasp who you are? Mecca. Not a mere name or profession, but your eternal identity. Are you ready to understand why the outer spirit has placed you on the timeline at this crossroads of human history, possessing the precise spiritual genes necessary to transform a world staggering in darkness? But listen carefully. The path to awakening is not smooth. It is neither glamorous nor comfortable. The final gateway before spiritual activation will be engulfed in fierce spiritual warfare. Near holy ground, the thickets of thorns always grow the deepest. As you draw closer to the divine encounter, resistance will rise to block you. Haven't you noticed already? Sudden fatigue that weighs down your hands and feet? Strange mood swings, inexplicable arguments within close relationships, urgent plans that suddenly collapse, devices breaking down at the most opportune moment, financial pressure that seems to have appeared overnight. These are not coincidences. They are a certainty. As stated in Ephesians 6:12, are not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. Hell knows what is coming. The enemy senses change, and you do. He is afraid of what will happen when you, the very person, fully step into the authority God has placed within you. Darkness has fought throughout your life to prevent this moment. This is because it knows that once you reach the moment of awakening, you will gain the power to threaten every stronghold the enemy has built. Let me ask you a question that will shake your core. Why is the week before a spiritual breakthrough always the harshest? Why did Pharaoh intensify his pressure on the people of Israel just before God parted the sea? Why did Jesus face the most intense temptation just before beginning his public ministry? Why did Daniel face fierce opposition just before the angel brought him an answer? It is because the enemy attacks most fiercely when he is closest to your destiny. A few days before May 25th, your mind may become a battlefield. Doubts will whisper to you, saying, "Nothing will happen. This is foolish." When you try to pray or meditate, your body will feel strangely heavy. You may be engulfed by fatigue that does not go away no matter how much you sleep. Fear, anxiety, and despair may surge like waves for no reason. Delays and confusion, miscommunications and forgotten promises, everything goes awry. And you will feel that the world is trying to distract your spiritual focus. But do not be deceived by this. This is not chaos, it is a strategy. The closer you get to the door, the more the enemy throws at you. Person 1, listen carefully. This is not a punishment. It is proof that you have drawn near to the gates of transformation. The level of opposition you face is proportional to the magnitude of what God intends to unleash within you. Remember what Daniel experienced. He fasted and prayed for 21 days, and finally received a breakthrough through an angel. But why was the answer delayed? It was a war in the spiritual realm. A certain force was in charge of delivering the message from heaven. Daniel 10 verses 12 to 13. From the first day you resolved to humble yourself before your God, in order to understand your words were answered, yet the prince of the Persian kingdom blocked me for 21 days. Your breakthrough force is real. Your words have already been heard, but a war is being waged in the chains to prevent your awakening. This is the final test before the gates of blessing open. Then how can you know if you are truly prepared for May 25th? It is when everything says yes, but the soul refuses. It is when the intellect says this is the limit, but the truth deep within the heart tells you to keep going. It is when the body desires sleep, yet the mind longs to meet God. Even when all logical thoughts say this is the end. When something unwavering within you says, I was born for this. That is precisely when you are ready. That is when the veil is lifted. However, you must begin preparing right now. Starting tonight, set your alarm for 2 a.m. This is not merely a symbolic restriction. At 2 o'clock, the veil between the physical and spiritual worlds is thinnest. It is the time when the heavens whisper and darkness listens. It is the time when angels move and evil spirits tremble. If you want to be part of the waking percent, you must meet God at this time. Create a holy space. Turn off the lights and eliminate noise. Sit in silence for exactly 40 minutes. Enter into deep prayer and meditation. Focus all your attention on May 25th. Visualize it, speak it, and call it out. Ask God to awaken the divine record within your soul. Ask for clarity, strength, and holy memory. I have never said this publicly, but everyone I have led to this awakening prepared through 2 a.m. devotion. There were no exceptions. And those who did not feel nothing. While they slept, that moment passed, and their lives were left unchanged. Now I ask you, will you rise while others sleep? Will you fight when others back down? Will you prepare when others delay? The attack will come. Be prepared for it. But do not be afraid. Your 2 a.m. devotion will be tested more fiercely than ever before. But the one who is within you is greater than the one who opposes you. 1 John 4 verse 4, he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead lives within you now. The same voice that calmed the storm is open to you. The same authority that casts out evil spirits and heals the broken is at work within your mind. Therefore, when opposition arises, do not lament, why is this happening? Instead, declare, this is happening because my breakthrough is real. It is because my purpose is near and the divine promise has been sealed. Time is late and the battle is intensifying. The enemy has been mobilized to the fullest. But the real question remains, will you meet God at 2 a.m. tonight? Look back on your life. Wounds and what you have survived. Your unique resilience. Your invisible victories. Were they coincidences or were they preparations? You likely already know the answer. I will tell you a story that will shake the very foundation of what you have believed about your life. For years, and for some decades, the enemy has worked desperately to make you believe that your suffering is discarded, that trials are proof of abandonment, and that solitude is the silence of God. But it was all a lie. It was an elaborate deception designed to divert your eyes from the anointing within you. This is because if the enemy could make you believe that you are broken, you would never rise again with the strength you have continued to possess. However, God says this, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for peace and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope. Now you will see. Every tear shed in silence, every time you supported others, when no one helped, every moment you stood steadfast, even when you seemed about to collapse, these were not breaking you, but building you. They were the weapons God intended to use for this generation. You were not being ignored, you were hidden, protected, and isolated. This was not because you were rejected, but because your purpose required distinction. David did not receive his crown in a public place. He was anointed in secret. Joseph was not promoted in the midst of calm. He was reformed through regency and slavery. God reused what humans intended for evil for his power. Genesis 50:20, you intended to harm me, but God turned it into good to save the lives of many people, as it is today. Then what if your greatest wound is not proof of disqualification, but a divine credential? What the world needs is not a mere survivor, but a leader. And not just a mere leader, but people who are stones and pillars like you, who are not crushed when pressured and do not break when wounded. And every night you cried out, why me? The answer was always, because I am building what can only be built through you. You are not defined by what happened. You are defined by what God does through you. You were not placed on earth merely to stand by. You were born to build the kingdom of heaven, change the air, and carry the frequency that breaks the chains of the spiritual realm. 1 Peter 2 verse 9. But you are chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people belonging to God. However, being chosen is not merely a badge of honor. It is the weight of responsibility. When was the last time someone saw your true self? When was the last time they saw the depth of your spirit, not your skills or the help you can offer? I tell you now, God is watching you. He is watching every sacrifice and silent prayer, every moment you doubted whether your efforts had meaning. And God says, now is the time. You no longer need to hide. You no longer need to appear small. You no longer need to wait for permission. It is time to stand up. You were not born to blend in with your surroundings. You were not created to chase comfort. You do not exist merely to survive somehow. You were designed to lead, to force doors open for others, to shoulder the weights others cannot bear, and to live boldly within the frequency of purpose while the world sleeps in survival mode. The next 21 days are extremely important. The divine window is open, but it will not forever. And your obedience unlocks more than just your own breakthrough. It activates the healing of your family, your community, and those you have not yet met. Souls depend on your answer of yes. Many lives are waiting for your obedience. Your legacy is being rewritten depending on what you choose now. You have likely seen this before. That everything changes and the air shifts just because someone enters a room. It is not charisma or charm, but a spiritual frequency. Chosen one, the moment you declare, I will take a step, that very frequency begins to radiate from you, and your entire energy field transforms. Heaven responds. Doors begin to open. Strategies begin to download. You are no longer merely surviving. You are transmitting. The old version of you begins to melt away. Your mission is activated and the fire of your calling is enkindled. But I dare to ask strictly, when was the last time you stood before a mirror and said aloud, I accept the divine calling? When was the last time you stopped running away from the way God created you? Many people live in survival mode. As soon as they wake up in the morning, they curl up, you endure the day. But God did not create you merely to endure. You were created to rule. Genesis 1:26, let them rule. This is not a metaphor, but a command. When Moses stopped making excuses, the sea parted. When David stopped hiding, the giant fell. When Esther stopped trembling, her people were saved. What awaits beyond your declaration? Take this to heart. The moment you say yes, the moment you stop treating yourself as small, you begin to vibrate at the frequency of the anointing. And within that frequency, you become able to obtain things that once seemed impossible. Supernatural resources begin to align. Long-standing relationships fade and new doors open without warning. You have likely already begun to feel it. A sense of alienation from a place you once loved. A feeling of unease when you are near those you called family. A burning fire yearning for something inexplicable that is not a rejection, but a promotion. John 15:19, if you belonged to the world would love its own. But you do not belong to the world, but the world hates you because I have chosen you out of the world. That discomfort is proof that heaven has lifted you up. The reason you feel out of place is that you have graduated from the tasks of the past. Do you feel it? Your spiritual genes are being rewritten. Old patterns are being overwritten, and old fears are being dismantled. It is not simply a change in thinking. You are transforming. As Paul wrote, "Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Romans 12, verse 2. The word transformation used here refers to the process of a worm becoming a butterfly. This is not a superficial change, but a spiritual metamorphosis. Listen carefully. You are no longer merely a human being trying to survive by any means necessary. You are a rising leader, a chain breaker, and a bearer of holy truth. The old you who succumbed to the weight of shame and believed yourself to be too broken, too late, and too small is about to disappear. What is emerging now is a flame, boldness, authority, and a calling. You may think the surrounding circumstances haven't changed at all. That is enough. It does not begin in what is visible. It begins in the spirit. Even if the situation appears unchanged, things have already started moving behind the scenes. Just as Jesus said it is finished before his resurrection, you must declare your transformation before it takes on a visible form. Declare it now. Like the people of Israel marching toward the Savior, shout before the walls crumble. Celebrate before the breakthrough comes. Worship before the doors open. Let your words create a spiritual climate that produces visible results. And now, we have reached the final truth. It is the only truth that separates the 1%, which most people fail to notice, from the rest of the world. Chosen one, please listen. What I am about to reveal will change the way you view every battle you have faced, every setback you have endured, and every part of your life that felt like it was collapsing. Are you ready to receive Chosen One? Have you noticed the chaos recently? It feels as though the whole world turned upside down. The moment you said yes for purpose, expenses you had somehow managed to suddenly escalate, relationships you believed were secure begin to unravel, your health is threatened, and fears you thought you had overcome sweep through your thoughts. You are likely asking, why now? Why is it happening all at once? Let me tell you clearly. This is not a coincidence, but a certainty. Before every miracle in the Bible, there was always a storm of fierce opposition. Before David faced Goliath, he was rejected by his own brothers. Before Moses parted the Red Sea, he was caught by Pharaoh's army and the wall of impossibility. Before Jesus could turn water into wine, he first had to overcome temptation in the wilderness for 40 days. The enemy does not waste weapons on humans who do not pose a threat. The enemy wages war only against dangerous individuals. Consider Job. The Bible calls him blameless and upright, yet he was attacked in every way. He was stripped of his possessions, lost his children, and fell ill. Why? Because his integrity was threatening, because his spiritual integrity was offensive to hell. James 1, verses 2-3. My brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of various kinds, consider it pure joy. For the testing of your faith produces perseverance. The enemy knows when the chosen one is about to bring about destiny. When heaven begins to draw near, the enemy falls into a panic. And you, my dear, are right now on the edge of that very moment. If it feels like everything is collapsing, congratulations. You have reached the final threshold before the breakthrough. Hell has no interest in lukewarm people. It does not mobilize its legions for those content with merely maintaining the status quo. However, for the 1% who are on the verge of being lifted up, those about to step onto a supernatural calling, the entirety of hell begins to run wild. Remember Joseph. Just before his promotion, he forgot. Elijah was threatened with his life by Jezebel immediately after fire came down from heaven. Jesus, too, had a garden of Gethsemane before the cross. Now you understand, don't you? Pressure is not punishment, but proof of promotion. Your struggle is not rejection, but spiritual conviction. The greater your anointing, the more intense the attacks become. The closer you get to the moment of liberation, the more violently the enemy struggles. The truth is this: the devil is seeing something within you that you yourself have only just begun to realize, and he is terrified of it. Understand this. Pressure in the chain is not distributed equally. The enemy does not pursue those who are asleep. He pursues those who try to change the air. If you are being attacked from all sides, it is because you have become a threat. This is not something to fear, but something to understand. When a woman gives birth, labor pains are sharpest in the last few minutes. Fire is hottest when gold reaches its zenith. A doubt cries out loudest when a promise is about to be fulfilled. O chosen one, your struggle is not a symbol of weakness. It is a sign of royalty. You wear a crown within the Spirit, even if you do not see it, yet the enemy sees it. That is why you are fighting so fiercely. The storm around you is not proof that God is absent. It is proof that you are important. Heaven is watching. The question is not whether God will help you. God always helps. The real question is whether you will still be there when God helps you. Moses had to lift his staff over the sea before the waters parted. Daniel continued to pray even with a lion nearby. Esther approached the king with a resolve that if she perished, he perished. And now it is your turn. You must stand firm, even if your legs tremble. You must maintain your composure even if everything around you seems to be collapsing. This is your moment, like a flood, a blazing furnace, and a sanctuary of Gethsemane. And just like all the chosen ones who came before you, your breakthrough is not a possibility, but an inevitability. If you do not give up, there is no need to pretend to be strong. Just keep standing. If you agree, do not merely think about it, proclaim it. Write in the comment section. I am under divine pressure, but I will never be broken. This is more than just words. It is a spiritual report. It is aligning your voice with the will and authority of heaven. This pressure is generating strength. These tears are watering your water. This struggle is proof that a miracle is right there. If you could see what the heavens are seeing right now, if you could see that crown, that calling and that task, you would come to praise God for the very storm you prayed would stop. Have you ever asked yourself why your struggle feels heavier than anyone? Why is your burden always a little more intense, your sorrow a little deeper, and your fight a little longer? It is because you are not carrying only your own story. You are carrying the breakthrough of a generation. You are carrying the weight of your children, your grandchildren, and your spiritual descendants. There are souls with names and destinies that depend on you not giving up. Your answer of yes is not just for you. It is for the healing of those you have not yet met. Esther faced the same moment. In Esther 4:14, Mordecai said to her, "If you remain silent at this time, the Jews will be saved from wrath by another cause, but you and my father's house perish." Who knows if you have attained the position of queen for such a time as this? Engrave this truth upon your soul. Esther could have left, but had she done so, She would have lost everything, and someone else would have been raised in her place. Chosen one. I tell you clearly, your awakening is not optional. If you do not step forward, someone else may step forward. However, you will miss out on the divine glory allocated to you. That reward has always been prepared for your name. That crown has always been crafted to fit the shape of your head. The people connected to your life, your family, your lineage, and your spiritual community need you to rise. So rise and fight, not merely for yourself, but for the souls that depend on your obedience. Fight for the children who will be healed by your alignment, for the families whose curses will be lifted, and for the future that will be written by your courage. You have not fought merely to survive, you have fought to rule. And now heaven asks you, will you bear this weight for one more day? Will you fight your way through this final storm? Will you step into your position as king for times like this? If you do, the darkness that tried to hold you back will realize it is too late to notice. It will realize that they could never pour out what God made you to endure to the very end. Be honest with yourself. Have you not lived as if your spiritual journey affected only you? Have you not hidden the light, buried your gifts, and pushed your purpose because you felt the weight was too heavy and uncomfortable and the demands too strict? I understand. But the truth is this. Every day you delay is a day someone spends bound in chains. Chains that were destined to be broken by your obedience, your voice, and your testimony. Every time you whisper tomorrow regarding God's goal, someone's breakthrough is being postponed. Even at this very moment, someone's rescue is being delayed. It is not because God has not prepared, but because you have not fully stepped into the divine role. But listen, this is not a condemnation. This is an awakening. It is to understand the magnitude of what heaven has entrusted to you. James 4:17. Therefore, if anyone knows how to do good and does not do it, it is sin. This is not merely stepping into blessing. It means refusing to leave others in bondage, even though you have been given the lead to freedom. Moses was not liberated simply to live peacefully in the desert. He called to lead a people out of slavery. Joseph's dream was not for him to seize power. It was to preserve life during a famine. And you, my dear, you were not chosen merely to survive your own suffering. You were chosen to become a spiritual gateway for others to be healed, saved, and find their destiny. God desires not only to save you, but to activate you. He desires that you not merely save others, but become the one who saves. He wants you not to be blessed alone, but to become a source of blessing, illuminating the path of those wandering in darkness. 1 Peter 4:10. As each one has received a gift, use it to serve others as good stewards of God's varied grace. You are no longer merely one who has been rescued, but now one who rescues. You are not merely one who has been healed, but are being formed into a healer. You have been called to stand up and help others stand up as well. Right now, all over the world, there are people kneeling, seeking signs, crying out for someone who will prove that freedom is possible. There are families trapped in the rights of duty of addiction, poverty, abuse, and silence, waiting for someone to break those patterns. They need you. They need your story. It is necessary to see how obedience to God manifests itself in human form. What is shaking your mind right now is not merely an emotion. It is a sacred weight. It is a holy purpose to push aside the walls of your comfort zone and be born. Among those reading this, there may be some who have felt it for years. Deep down, you knew that God was calling you to a greater work. But you kept saying, I'm not ready yet. I'm too broken. I'll do it when things calm down. But chosen one, my work is here, right now. And it is not just my work that depends on you. The tomorrow of your family, your community, and the generation yet to be born depends on it. Their freedom is bound to your answer of yes. Jesus clearly said it. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. In the same way, let your light shine before men. Matthew 5, verses 14 to 16. Your light was not meant to be hidden under fear or hindrance. It was meant to illuminate the path of others. Now, act right now. Share this message with just one person who comes to mind. Go between the darkness and rescue of your wounded friend, your family on the verge of losing hope, and your colleagues pretending everything is fine. For this is not merely a matter of whether or not you stand up. The real question is how many others will rise as you stand up. Look at your hands. Look not only at their physical form, but with spiritual eyes. These hands are either building an altar of legacy or digging a grave of regret. Ask yourself honestly, what spiritual legacy am I building right now? Is it rooted in fear? Or is it faith? Is it debt? Is it bondage because of abundance? Or is it freedom? As it says in Proverbs, the righteous live a blameless life, and their children are blessed. You are not merely accumulating moments, you are creating a movement. What you choose today becomes a refuge for those who follow tomorrow. You were not born to repeat the dysfunction of your own family. You were born to break the curse, freedom, and clarity. And you were born to start a new spiritual lineage filled with blessings that transcend generations. Genesis 12, verse 3, I will bless those who bless you, and I will curse those who curse you, and all the families of the earth will be blessed through you. The enemy has tried to make you believe that your life is small and that your decisions affect only you. That lie was told to make you passive. But the truth is that every prayer you launched, every calling you ignored, and every moment you retreated is taking away from not only you but your lineage as well. Take this to heart. Your obedience writes the future. Even at this very moment, whether the life of a child yet unborn will be colored with freedom or bondage depends on your response now. Because you said that the curse stops here, you have a grandchild who prays differently, speaks in a different way, and dreams different dreams. Daniel 12, verse 3, those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who lead many to righteousness will shine like the stars forever. Your answer of yes today is not merely a private moment. It is the ignition of a star that illuminates someone's soul. You are the Abraham of your lineage. You are the Joshua of your household. Choose for yourselves whom you will serve today. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Revelation 24:15. Now, do you see them? Future faces yet unseen, lives yet unlived. They will look back on this moment and say someone changed over there. On that day, someone finally said yes. In the court of heaven, there is a book inscribed with your name. And the pages recording your legacy are still being written. Now, I ask you, what story will be heard? Will it be the story of someone who took a step toward greatness only to step back? Or is it the testimony of a spiritual warrior who stood in the broken cracks, faced adversity, broke the yoke, and changed history? Galatians 6 verse 9. Let us not become weary in doing good, for if we do not give up, we will reap a harvest in our name. Similar events may not appear overnight, but if you remain faithful, but they will surely appear. Chosen one, I hope you cherish a specific truth deep in your heart at the end of this holy time. Do not forget, the weight you bear is not punishment, but preparation. The battle you fight is not a coincidence, but a task. The sense of responsibility that sometimes feels overwhelming is actually a reflection of how much heaven trusts you. You are not being crushed, you are being appointed. You are not being ignored, you are being prepared beyond measure for something that requires all the strength God has cultivated within you. Through this message, we have revealed soul-shaking truths that God does not call the qualified, but grants qualification to those who are called, and that your wilderness was not in vain, but was training, that your tears were not a symbol of weakness, but water for the next hundreds of millions. Just as David in the pit before the palace, David in the cave before the crown, Esther before the throne, and you now, standing at the threshold of destiny. And never forget this, you are not walking alone. The same God who called you is walk beside you. When your knees bend, God supports you. When your vision blurs, God guides you. When no one understands, God listens. God's grace enables you to accomplish what you could never achieve by your own strength. And besides God's presence, there is us. We are fellow travelers walking a similar path, the family of the chosen. We are praying for you. We are with you in faith. We believe with all our hearts that your breakthrough is much closer than you feel. But I must ask you, can you now begin to see your suffering not as evidence of being abandoned by God, but as the conviction that heaven has chosen you for a greater work? Can you take hold of that mission with faith, not fear? Let us seal this moment together in prayer. Father in heaven, I come before you now for your chosen servants. Lord, you are watching over them. You know the silent weight they bear, the pain they never speak of, the blood they hide, and the battle they endure behind smiles. Now release a new anointing upon them. Grant them your strength when they feel weak, your guidance when they feel lost, and your support when they feel their limits. Let your presence envelop them like armor. Send divine helpers into their lives, people who will exalt them, intercede for them, and fight alongside them. Crush the enemy's lies that they are insufficient. Steal away all voices, saying they missed the opportunity. It is too late now, and they are disqualified. Instead, let them hear your whispers that they were born for this work. Let a breakthrough come quickly. Let the fog clear. May your provision flow forth. May healing spring forth like the dawn. May the fire within their hearts be rekindled. And may purpose overflow in their souls. From this moment on, may they walk boldly with divine authority, not fear, not fear. And may every member be transformed into acceleration, every test into evidence, and every sorrow into strength. We take this by faith. We give all glory to you and pray in the precious name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. My dear friend, if this message touched your heart today, would you please leave your thoughts in the comments? Please let me know where you are on your journey. Please let me pray for you. And if someone's facing the mind while listening to this, or if you know someone walking through a difficult season, please share this with them. Your obedient act might become the spark that reignites their faith. I am deeply grateful for your presence, prayers, and spiritual partnership. If you do not trust this, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It is so that you do not miss the message speaking directly to you in this very moment. When you like, share, and comment, you are not merely reacting. You are helping to convey these words to those who are crying out, yearning for assurance, and proof that they are not alone with you. I pray that the Lord will bless and protect you, and that He will shine His face upon you to grant you peace. I pray for peace that transcends all understanding, strength when weary, and clarity when the path is unclear. Never forget this until we meet again. You are a chosen, appointed, and anointed being. Your story is being written even now. Move forward with power and grace. Take a step forward, convinced that when you move, the heavens move too.